All right, many thanks to AMA Ajayi for the background report on ID and digital public infrastructure. Now joining us for the conversation and already seated is Mrs. Florence Oloruntade, Director, Sebicom, and Deputy Ambassador, ID for Africa. Many thanks for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, also here for the conversation is Dr. Alvin Ikoku, Head of Strategy and Program Office of NIMC, I'm sure. Many thanks for joining us, Mr. Alvin.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We also have a familiar face with us, Haniel Jafaru, Cyber Security Consultant and Executive Director, HTC Academy. Haniel, good to see you again.
So it's a pleasure being here.
And we have a guest joining us via Zoom from Lokoja, Honorable Ismaila Umaru, immediate past Senior Special Assistant on ICT to Governor Yahya Bello, and now Special Advisor on Digital and Creative Economy to Governor Usman Ahmed Ododo of Kogi State. Thank you very much, Honorable Umar. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning. Claire.
All right, I'd just like to start with everyone on a very general note. And let me start with Mrs. Oloruntade. If you were to describe your identity in just one sentence, what will it be?
My own identity.
Yes. In one sentence.
My identity is who I am. My name is Florence Oloruntade, and I live in Nigeria.
One sentence. Hania.
Okay, so my identity is my personality and what I am known for based on my character and what's attributed to my personality.
Dr. Ikoku, your identity in one sentence.
My identity is my unique biometric features, which you may not always see with the naked eyes. You may require the help of technology to determine that. And it's very unique to you, not even to twins. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Usman, Honorable Ismaila, sorry. What's, in one sentence, how would you describe your identity?
My identity is what uniquely identifies me amongst every other Nigerian.
Wonderful. Henry, you want to continue? I just asked, you say, everybody just describing themselves. And I'm just wondering if this description is part of, what we know as identity. So can we just start, Dr. Ikoku, when we say identity, what exactly do we mean?
Well, I'll still leverage on what I said earlier. And identity is actually who you are, who you truly are. And you would have to go make some effort in determining who you truly are. At birth, persons are given names, so that is quite distinguishing, so that's who they are. Even as they grow up, and perhaps owing to religious inclinations, they are further given special names and so on and so forth, especially in Africa, okay? People do name their kids, perhaps after some forebear or the other, So all of those things help in identifying the individual. But when you bring in technology into it, okay, and you can see, here are my palms. These palms are unique. Even if I were a twin, by the way, I'm not. If I placed it on a device, okay, on a device, it would show all kinds of unique features that is exclusively me. And so even if I so desire to be either of you, I may not be able to, because somewhere, probably an identity authority is holding this set of biometrics and several more, maybe even my iris, because it also has some unique features. In fact, the only thing that you can say, oh, this is Alvan, may just be my face, okay? And that you can identify with ease, and maybe other things, my name, etc. But you can't see my fingerprints, and you can't see my iris to determine that I'm the person. So if you drill down with the help of technology, it brings in that uniqueness into play, and it helps a great deal to preserve society and ensure that whoever presents before you, if you were a service provider, is exactly who he or she says he or she is.
Fantastic. You know, you used the word unique multiple times, and I'm wondering, why then it is possible for someone to have two names. I mean, that has become topical at this point. I'm sure with the JAMB, examinations and all that played out with people trying to impersonate and all of that. There were reports of people presenting with two names. So I'm wondering, this uniqueness, can it be doubled?
No. Uniqueness cannot be doubled. And as a matter of fact, as you tell me that people have two names, it's kind of strange. You must also know that when we are doing as well as we are, not so much because I'm in NIMSI, but that's the reality of it. I hope you also listen to those who have given us a lot of thumbs up for the excellent job that we're doing. When we do what we do at the NIMSI, we cannot, as a matter of fact, if you understand the setup of the technology at play in NIMSI, including the use of the automated biometric identification system, the ABIS, you cannot possibly have two individuals being issued a name, because when you step into a NIMSI center to enroll, your identity, your biometrics is matched one to many against every single identity already existing in the database. And before you're issued a unique identification number. If that effort fails, if there is a close resemblance, it occasions a hit. And that hit must be looked at by an official who is trained at the back end to determine the uniqueness of that. So if it's the same, no way, that identity is not going to fly. So when you have all those things in place, how do you still talk about double name if it was not a distraction?
Dr. Koko, we will get to that.
Yeah, please.
We will really get to that, because it's not just a story we fabricated. It was a discovery made by a committee inaugurated to investigate allegations of exam malpractice. And they came up with a number of, malpractices, including candidates presenting, two NIN numbers. So we will look at how that could happen, because we have Haniel here to give us an idea. But again, let's deepen our conversation on International Identity Day, which is what we are celebrating today. And I asked, for all of our identities, because ordinarily, the ordinary Nigerian, if you ask, when they are asked to present something, they will say, it's either you present your identity card, your staff ID, your international passport, but we know that beyond that, identity is not just the abstract. So why, for the ordinary Nigerian, why does it matter to have an identity that is beyond just carrying your ID card? Madam Flower, yes.
Thank you very much. So what we provide at the NIMSI is a digital identity. It goes beyond the plastic card or the passport. It's a foundational identity. The other identities they carry is a functional identity, depending on the function or the services they want to access. But at the NIMSI, we provide the foundational identity, which is the foundation for all other services. And then it can be verified. It's verifiable and authenticated. So that's why my colleague spoke about the biometrics. So that is the uniqueness of the identity that we provide.
Break down the foundational, yes, so that the viewer will understand what
okay, foundational meaning that it is who you are as against what you do or what you want to access. That is what it means, foundational.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Many thanks.
Yes.
Are you done?
Are you okay? Are you
Yes,
done?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Daniel, you want to? Yes. Why does it matter for the ordinary Nigerian to have all of this?
Okay, so majorly it's for when it has to do with digital identity, which is what NIMSI manage. I think it's largely a system of authenticating the personality that is accessing a particular service, especially when it has to do with digital services. But yeah, there are forms of physical services that one would want to access that there is just need for somebody to authenticate that you are that person that needs that services, and there is a system of checks that makes them validate and verify you as the person. So as Shat rightly said, there's the NIMSI manages the foundation. I'm not a NIMSI person, but NIMSI manages the foundational identity, and the foundational identity is the core for every other identity. For example, the NIN is a foundational identity, but there are functional identities like the identity that you get, the number you get from your passport, the numbers, the driver's license you get. Those are functional identity, the identity that helps you to carry out, to authenticate you carrying out a particular function, like the driver's license enables you to be able to drive, which is a functional identity. Your what's it called? Your passport number enables you to be able to identify you as a Nigerian, to be able to get visas and travel out. So generally, the core purpose of identity is authentication.
If you say there's a difference between the NIN, right, and other IDs, you call the others as functional identities. I'm asking because as at the time the BVN was done, right, the same features which NIMSI is using, to get their data was the same kind of features that were used. I mean, you have to use your thumbprint, your face had to be captured, I don't know, all the other stuff. So what makes those just functional and not as authentic as the name?
Okay, so there is dual capturing, which personally I am against. I don't think that most of all those information need to be needed. We need those that captures those information or data, especially from the functional perspective of identity. They don't need to get all of that. They may need them for the purpose of verification. Let's say, for example, NIMSI holds your biometric and you want to register for BVN, for example. They would need your BVN, they would need your biometric, your thumbprint, to verify that you are the one that owns that data that is resident in NIMSI. So for me, I don't think they may capture those data at registration, but they should not be able to store those data because it's just for the purpose of verification. Once they've been able to verify all that they need to verify, the data should still reside in NIMSI and not with all these functional agencies like your banks and immigration. So the functional is just while the foundational gives the comprehensive uniqueness of your person, the functional is aimed at ensuring that they are able to validate and verify you as that person. But what we have in Nigeria is you will find out that NIMSI is getting all this data, all these biometrics, and all those other agencies are also getting the same biometric, and eventually they will still need to verify with NIMSI to ensure that the biometric corresponds, and they will still have a copy of it. I don't think, from a security perspective, it's dual data capturing.
So then how safe is it to be a part of all this other functional, ID process? I mean, because, all your details, your data. So we talk about safety. So in our space, how safe is personal data with all the systems that operate?
The safety is dependent on the organization that is actually capturing it, because there are measures that need to be put in place. Security generally, or protection generally, are measures put in place to ensure the safety of certain information or certain data that is in your custody. So if you don't put in the necessary measures, then the safety of those data or the data that you capture can be in jeopardy, because the truth of the matter is, as long as security of data is concerned, it is the person at the aim of affair that should have an understanding of how important security is to those data. So if somebody that is at the aim of affair, for example, just an example, let's say the organization that manages BVN, for example, they don't have security consciousness within them. There is no security cyber hygiene within them. Then they would not prioritize security as, again, they would just, all they want is to capture the data and store the data. So the person at the aim of affair is what determines how secure that the data that they capture would be.
Haniel, thank you. We still have a lot of questions on, efficiency, safety, that Ianre is asking for you to explain to us. But let's bring in Honorable Ismaila. Honorable Ismaila, so all we are talking about is foundational identity. Of course, which encompasses both functional or whatever, all other identity systems. I'm just wondering, how does that improve the life of the daily average Nigerian? How does it help him, to do things, to get access to, several places, health, education, food on the table and all that? I mean, what does it matter to him?
I would like to start this way. Truth be told, we silos of data or identity. And the best we should be doing as a nation is to really hold on to our NIN. All other functional identities would integrate into NIN as the foundational identity. Not that you capture by my biometric, with NIMSI had captured me, all other functional organizations will be capturing again. No. That's what we call data sharing in the DPI project. That NIMSI or NIN should be the only uniquely identified digital identity for Nigerians. Why is it necessary to Nigerians? We're in the digital economy era. You go to banks, you share information, you want to transact, you do payments. Money or resources is at the center. So for you to engage in the digital economy, benefit of any individual of what you do, your identity is very key in payments and data sharing. It's important for every Nigerian. Your NIN or your identity is known and used properly. It will also help you to secure you from what I would call somebody not duplicating, just as you said earlier from the last speaker, my cybersecurity guy. Security, very important. When you have one true source of identity, then you would not be, very scared that from the other end, your data could be missed.
For your opening comments, I would definitely get back to you in Lokoja. Let's return to the studio. Dr. Ikoku, it's clear from what everyone has said, what you said. I mean, we need to get this data. It's important to have a unique identification, so that we can access a lot of things in the country. But speak to us about where we are at the moment with the rollouts of the NIN. How many Nigerians are currently enrolled?
Thank you very much. Before I do that, I would like to reach out to Haniel and say that it's everyone's responsibility, okay? Not just the data capturing institution or data holding institution. It should also be the responsibility of the individual, because sometimes we've also noticed, sadly, that individuals do not even know how to handle their own record. And that is when funny things happen like breaches. So back to you. NIMSI, of course, is an ongoing concern. We are the 126 million thereabout mark as it were, of Nigerians who have been enrolled into the National Identity Database. And we're not resting on our oars. There is still, we have plans to ensure that every Nigerian, indeed, it's actually a mandate to ensure that every single Nigerian is uniquely identified. So that is still ongoing. We have a scheme at the moment which is known as the Nationwide Ward Level Enrollment Scheme. And this scheme is going to involve the National Youth Service Corps members who will help to go to hard-to-reach areas, as it were, okay? Not security challenge, hard-to-reach areas. And we are hoping that before the end of this year, we would have achieved 95% coverage. Now, I'm not giving you a number, but I'm giving you a percentage. Why am I not giving you a number? Because census hasn't even been done. And so we cannot say with all amount of certainty that we are 100 million or 150 million Nigerians or 200 million Nigerians and so on and so forth. We may well discover that from the 126 million that we are at the moment, that by the time this coverage goes round and we reach every nook and cranny and ensure that every Nigerian is enrolled, that we may well jump to 300 million. Who knows? So,
what has been your biggest obstacle so far in this enrollment process?
We have several obstacles in the enrollment process, but the challenge sometimes is the reach and the level of enlightenment of Nigerians. Some Nigerians, should I even say scared? They don't want to come forward and take it as a civic responsibility to enroll. But if they were properly enlightened to know that this would even open up access to service for them, specialized government services, I think they will run to every NIMSI center that they see to ensure that they get enrolled.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ikuku. I'll still remain with you before we come to Madam Florence. NIMSI was established by the Act of 2007. That's right. That's about 18 years now. And we're still trying to, do ward and all that. I'm just wondering, in terms of inclusivity, in terms of, reach, how are you, what is the system? What does the system offer? For instance, let's take the woman in, conflict-prone area, or a woman who has found herself and her children in an IDP camp, who has lost all forms of document, and it's not even literate. Now she has to get a foundational identity to transact any form of, business. Does the system have any opening for her and for her children who will still have to be recognized?
Most certainly. When you asked this question, I saw my colleague, Madam Florence, chuckle a bit. She used to be in operations, by the way.
Yes.
She used to be in operations before she...
You want to take the question?
No, that's fine. Okay. Before she came to Servicom. Okay. And she chuckled because she led a few schemes and initiatives to those kinds of centers, to those IDP camps where such women were actually enrolled, okay? We acknowledge that we need to keep doing that. The IDP camp that she visited several years ago with her team may not even be in existence anymore, but there might be more IDP camps today that also need to be reached. So that is always going to be an ongoing effort until every single Nigerian is enrolled and there is a plan in place to enroll every single Nigerian who's born. So that will keep happening. So we do that. Inclusivity is our watchword, and we don't want anyone left out because it would open the doors to opportunities for these citizens of our country.
Honorable Ismaila, I'm just wondering, the man in Kogi, let's say the farmer in Kogi, are you with us? Are you with us, Honorable Ismaila? The man in Kogi, how truly accessible is NIN to him or her?
Yeah, I think that is a challenge. You asked Dr. Ikoku about some of the obstacles they face. I think NIMSI need to do more on including people, as he said. For quite some time, I'll give you an instance of my son, who not even my own child, who get his NIN. But it was a challenge for some months that the NIN portal was down. I think we need to do more on that. Create more centers for people to get access, both in the rural and the urban areas. I think that is what I was saying. We have that challenge. That is what I was.
Thank you, Honorable Ismaila. Madam Florence, yes. So what you wanted to say something about this?
Reaching inclusivity,
yes,
and ensuring that everybody is carried along and enrolled. So, my colleague, we have what we call the front-end partners, who will partner with licensed agents that carry out enrollment for us. And then they have been incentivized to be able to, that when the further they go to capture, the higher the payment they get for such hard-to-reach areas. So those are some of the plans, one of the few plans that NIMSI has put in place to ensure that we are able to reach the woman in the village, the farmer in his farmland. And also, we also partner with other agencies like the Ministry of Agriculture. We are also planning a project with them, a scheme, where they want us to come and enroll the farmers in all the farmers and develop. They want to have a register of all the farmers. So there are different initiatives that we embark on to be able to ensure that, use cases where is it the farmers, is it the students. We also have the youth corpers, the credit corps. So we are enrolling different categories and different groups of individuals, ensuring that everyone is included.
But you had Honorable Ismaila complain about the issue in Kogi as well.
We have issues.
Yes.
I mean, there's nowhere that you don't have challenges. I mean, there's no straight-jacketed organization or system or process that there are no challenges. But if I would also want to ask when this incident happened, because initially at the earlier stage we had a lot of challenges. But with the coming of our current Chief Executive, Dr. Engineer Koka Abisoye, there has been a lot of revamping of the system, like the self-service modification platform that she introduced. That has helped a lot to ease traffic in our centers. So you can sit at the comfort of your home and, commence and conclude your self-service modification service. You want to modify your data. You also want to enroll. There are FEPs around, but one of the challenges that we have noticed with Nigerians is that they always want the quick way out. You don't want to follow the right process or the due process, and so you end up in the wrong place. Somebody's telling you you don't even have to come to the center for you to be enrolled. You can do, what do we call that word? You don't have to present, but you must present to be able to enroll. And so when you go to meet some of these fraudsters and they capture you and they end up not getting service or value for your service that you quote and unquote paid for, then all the blame and all the responsibility goes back to them. Say, oh, we went here, we went to enroll, they didn't enroll us, they collected money. The service is free.
Must an enrollee come to your office?
Yes, because we must capture your biometrics. We can't capture that in proxy.
Now, Madam Florence, you talk about the fact that Nigerians want a quick way out of it. Have you also done some kind of monitoring with the offices that you operate about how they go about rendering this service? You say it is free. I have a personal experience, and I will share it. One of your centers here in Abuja, not in a remote area, would ask you to give them data that they do not have network to connect with the system to register. I actually took my children to register. It's my personal experience. So I'm not talking about somebody. Yeah. So I actually saw people give them money, and in some other cases, you would have to buy data for them. So isn't that a challenge, right? So, I mean, anyways, you would respond to that. Yes, because, like I said, I'm not talking about somebody's experience. So I can tell you the office, I can tell you the officers that are involved, and I can tell you what exactly happened. So for me, and then there are so many centers that you have that are not operational. Right? You go there, they tell you there's no electricity. and say you need to do an ID urgently. They tell you there's no electricity. You keep going there for days and they're not functional. So they keep referring you to places where you can meet the fraudsters.
Yeah,
I mean, this is it's not, they didn't tell me, right? So that you don't, so these are the issues. So if you do not have your offices operational at the closest, places where people reside, then what do you expect them to do? That's one. Then two, attitude of staff of NIMC. NIMC, right? You get into the place to get registered. I mean, you're just being pushed around. You have to stay on the queue. If it's raining, they don't care where you stay. All of this
puts people away.
Exactly. So, anyways, let me get to her now. Dr. Ikoku,
just food for thoughts.
Dr. Ikoku was talking about the fact that we all have a role to play with this privacy and all of this and all. A lot of people are not interested in this because they're not sure about, the intention of government. Right? Mistrust, misuse, and all of that. Speak to us about the Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023. What does it really say? I mean, is there any kind of covering, for us? Are we being exposed in any way if we allow
for foundational
or whoever to get our data and give us some kind of identity whatsoever?
Okay, so yeah, true. There is starting with the fact that there's a role everyone has to play, but bulk of the role largely resides when it has to do with the role that we have to play. There are persons who don't even know that they have roles to play when it has to do with security. So there is still a role NIMC has to play when it has to do with creating the awareness for the public. Because truth, I've not seen any form of awareness. Yeah, there is also NOA. Yeah, they are supposed to play one very strong role in creating that awareness that has to do with the digital identity, the security of your digital identity. So, but yeah, that aside, now talking about the NDPC, the Nigerian Data Protection Act. It designed a system that makes it easier for organizations to be able to hold data, process data, and store data with some form of checks and frameworks that makes it possible for you as an individual or as an organization to verify if they are in compliance with that provisions. So, for example, an organization that wants to hold your data, it's expected that they should have the necessary mechanisms in place to secure the data. It's expected that they should have the necessary mechanisms and systems in place to validate your data, because you can go back to them and say that you don't want your data to be resident in their organization again. And it is your right. There are 6 rights that has to do that. The 6 digital identity rights. So it is your right to actually ask an organization that is in possession with your data to delete your data. And they are not in any way expected to not hack into that provisions. Now that can now be a challenge when the government is trying to ensure that everybody has an identity, and you are saying, I don't want the government to have my identity. So yeah, that's a huge concern, and I think globally, there's usually one organization that the government backs, in our case, NIMC, to be the one that is in custody of Nigerian identity. So in that case, the government will definitely be behind NIMC and ensure that NIMC keeps your data, because it's important for the purpose of efficiency, productivity, operationalization of the services that is needed.
So what can Nigerians do in the case where your data is being, I don't know if it's stolen or if it's given to certain people? I mean, you see loan apps.
Okay, now.
You see all kinds of organizations sending you a message. They have your information. They even know where you're working. And you're asking, how did this get out?
To start with, before you give your data to any organization, you are supposed to verify if they are in compliance with the NDPA Act. Because if they are not in compliance with that act, they can do and undo with your data. There's actually a database talking about the loan apps guys. They actually have an association that is not legal, where they keep the database of, so you go to this app, you register, they have a database that they keep everybody's data. So you find out new loan apps will just plug into that database and pick your number and start calling you that, you collected loans from this social organization, and we're calling you to ask if you would need loan and all of that. So the majority of these organizations, they are not in compliance with the NDPA, the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation policy at all. So for you as an individual, it is your responsibility to ensure that, to validate if that organization is in compliance. One way you can do that is by going to NDPC to get they have list of registered, even FCPP, Federal
Consumer Protection.
They also have a database of approved loan apps, for example. So you can go there to verify before you submit your data to this organization. So many of them are not even organized. They are not even registered. Some of them are not even local. They are not local companies or local organizations. They just come and operate.
It's not as if they hacked NIMS's database to get your details. But please, Dr. Ikoku, speak to the issues that Ian raised. And the issues she raised, speak to the capacity of NIMSI to carry out this national foundational identity enrollment. It's very fundamental, the issues that she's raised, having to provide data, for your staff or for the agents that you have deployed. Also, in terms of, services, the quality of services rendered by these agents can also, be a put-off for a lot of people who want to enroll. I think you need to speak to that. And then there are also so many other issues that we want you to talk about, like, maybe having making changes in the information that you've already provided. What are the steps? Is that still tenable, like your date of birth, like mistakes in your name input and all that?
Thank you very much for the question. I think is actually an excellent one. So it's most unfortunate. And let me even start by saying my heart reaches out to Nigerians out there who find themselves, faced with this challenge. But again, they have a responsibility, okay, to let us know, to give us feedback, and that's where our Servicom unit comes in, which she heads, okay? They need to let us know if we've served them well, and if we've been abysmal with our services, let us know. We will redress it. If you have, if someone is hitting you for funds to extort you, let us know. We would love to deal with those people, okay? Even if they are our staff, we'd love to do. And we're dealing with countless of them, as a matter of fact. Every quarter, basically, there's a disciplinary council meeting that holds, and it's such issues that come up. So it has to be appropriately reported. There have been situations where I have been called individually because people know that I work in NIMSI, maybe family and friends. Please, can you help us? This is exactly what is happening in this location. They've asked me for X naira. I said, really? All right, I don't render such help, but I'll give you help that you will thank me later, okay? Go back in, try and get the name of this person. Oh, please, I don't want anybody to lose their job. That is not very responsible of that citizen, even if it were my family.
Is it about getting the name of the person? The center alone should be able to let you know, because, I mean, nobody can operate in isolation in the center. There are actually very few staff.
Oh, sure.
Right?
The name of the center, the name of the individuals, and this has been very helpful, and we swoop in on them, and we deal with them, okay?
The issue, Dr. Ikoku, sorry,
so,
the issue is, do you provide enough data for your agents to work with?
Yes, we do. We provide enough data for agents to work with, and we continue to provide. We continue to also partner with...
Do they have printers that are functioning?
Of course.
Really?
Yes, we do have printers that are functioning. And we have data. We are partnering with agencies that can provide that.
I don't want to mention the centers. A particular center somewhere in the FCT.
You told me of your experience years ago. Are you still using that against us?
Not years ago.
When? Yesterday?
Not years ago. This year. I was to register my child, not my registration, right? Because he needed to do the NHIS registration, and I was asked to go get the NIN. All right? So I had to take my children. This is an experience. I went to a first center, and they said there was no electricity. They didn't have fuel in their gen, and that if I was going to want them to do it, then I needed to buy fuel. I wasn't ready for that, so I moved to the next center. I got to the next center, and I was told there was no data. I was tired of moving around. I was moving with children. So I had to provide data. After providing data, they did the capturing and all, and the attitude was like, you know the Nigerian attitude. So I was like, okay, when I come pick up the slip. I got that the day I was told to pick up the slip, I was told the printer wasn't functioning. Till date, I don't have the slip. It was snapped on the screen. I can show you proof. It was snapped. They don't have a functioning printer.
Yeah, thank you.
Are all the centers really working optimally?
So, Madam Florence, this is Sevicom.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We, like my colleague, we would like to apologize for every inconvenience that Nigerians have to go through to access our services.
And Yenre.
And what's the correct pronunciation?
Yenre.
Yenre. We apologize to you sincerely. But like I said, we are a work in progress. I know that my chief executive recently approved the purchase of data, Airtel, in partnership with Airtel, I think over 1,000 pieces of modems to be dispatched to each enrollment center. And then we're also working with NIGCOMSAT also to provide connectivity. So I believe that in a few months, or even, this issue of no data and wanting, because what we're trying to do is to plug every hole or every channel through which this staff or anybody, even the agent, our partners, will try to use to extort Nigerians or make life difficult for them, right?
So while that is going on, any person who encounters the same scenario, what should the person do?
Oh, they should escalate. We have redress channels. You can call us on our on the customer care line 0700 call NIMC line, or you can send an email 0700 call NIMC. Yeah.
Yes.
So
0700 call NIMC. 0700 call NIMC.
And we're also getting a toll-free line very soon, so Nigerians can actually reach us at free cost. The toll-free line, they don't have to pay to call us. You call us, we'll be available. We have expanded our contact center from a 15-seater to almost 43-seater. So we have agents that are available to attend to calls, to emails, and we also have working customers. We have customer care offices in the state. And another thing that we are putting in place is a QR code at our centers, which will come out, which will be live very soon. Maybe because we have this ID day today, so we have to post a whole lot of other things where clients can actually scan the QR code and report their issues. We also have it on our website, but we thought that so that everybody can do that at the center, we developed the QR code so that next time you visit a center and you encounter such issues, you could actually just flag it immediately.
You don't even have to walk in. You can actually do your pre-enrollment yourself, okay? If you do your pre-enrollment, you now assign perhaps a center closest to you. It would be grossly responsible of us to assign you to a center, and the necessary resources are not available to attend to you. So most likely you'll be recommended to a center where every single resource is available to attend to you.
I'm trying to call the number now. Yeah, right.
No, you.
I'm trying to call the number.
I'm
trying to call the number now.
Yeah, please go ahead.
It's not going.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling.
When you're done, go also to pen and roll.
What is going on is the automation of our processes, and we're actually piloting as we speak right now to transit to the automated process. So I know that today they were supposed to do. No, I'm not kidding.
Madam Florence, you're in charge of Sevicom.
Go through. Yes,
you're in charge of Sevicom. I'm wondering, do you monitor your centers?
Yes,
do you have a monitoring team? Once in a while. That's one. Then two, these so-called fraudsters that you have mentioned that do this process, right?
Yes.
Have you done your investigation? Because there are reports that these people have connections with NIMC staff. I mean, you go there, you pay, they find a way to get it to NIMSI staff who registers them authentically and all. Have you found a way just so that you can block these fraudsters from operating?
Yes, we're working on that. Currently.
You're working on that?
Yeah, can we yes, sorry, let's quickly take some comments that have come in quickly. Yeah, you have some?
Yes, I do.
Please start off.
All right, some messages here. This one says, this is identity is a personal biometric data that even show where you come from. Okay, I think he was responding to your first question, Madam Claire. That's Donald from Bain Institute. Another one says, how fast can my current details be updated if I need to make changes? How is my personal data protected on the EID card? Thank you for your service. Have a very good morning. God bless Nigeria. Nandom Uyep from Jaws. Another one says, Nigerians are seriously obsessed with identity issues, trying to have what will show your true self. We're made to get multiple ID cards at school, workplace, licenses, etc., with some having conflicting facts. To have a true and authentic record that will resonate true data of the holders should be a national issue with safety attached. NIN is properly organized and should be done with pressing just one button. And, well, not so clear. But worrisome enough is the fact that NIMSI still gives ordinary paper, hurriedly done, without authentic records, some by roadside franchise agents. That's coming from Jack Alba from Makodi. Another one says, logging into the NIMC app is almost impossible. I don't know why they are claiming that NIN registration is free. It is not free. Even at their centers, they ask for payment. Another one says, my response to this morning is few questions, because they are saying it is saying it as if it is seamless. What are the major problems causing the frequent downtime of the NIN server? And what solutions are being considered to address them? What specific measures are being taken to permanently check these recurring challenges since they happen too frequently? What is being done to improve the reliability of self-service? Is NIN modification free? That's coming from Usman Abdul. Another one says, good morning, my name is Sweet Daniel Amajigbe from Bayelsa. It's so difficult to get NIN. In fact, I paid 5,000 naira before I got mine. So NIMC needs to do more. Another one says, I'm David. I've done my NIMC since 2015, but how can I have the plastic card? This one says, good morning, NTA. Please advise the NIMC people to boldly display functional helplines in their centers nationwide.
Are you done? You have more? Okay.
I have so many.
Okay, let me take some. Let me take. This is from Arabika in Depo, Life Camp, Abuja. The question is, why are agencies of government collecting the same data to form our national identity? Second question, how safe is our digital infrastructure, especially when we often depend more on foreign companies as partners? Kehinde Paul. Good morning, Azubike from Nnewi. How can I correct my date of birth without wrongly entered in my name? And what will it cost me? Azubike from Nnewi. And this is from Lamere Plateau, Gendiri Caleb. Okay, from Ambassador Caleb. Ambassador Caleb, your question is, how can national identity help the owner of ID with problems of spellings and procedures of correcting the mistake, preventing movement from court to newspaper publication? That's Ambassador Caleb from Plateau State. I want to know more about the national identity and digital public infrastructure. And this is coming from, please help me ask Dr. Ikoku why I have not been able to collect my permanent ID card. I registered since October 2015, despite my efforts visiting their office and always waiting for their call that I should come and collect same. I think, let me pause. Dr. Ikoku, please, let's take that question.
Okay, why he hasn't collected?
He registered since 2015.
Yes, we had a challenge with our general multipurpose card scheme. It was one that was extremely expensive to support at the time, you know. So we opted for issuing the national identification number, which is basically the primary token that NIMSI gives, comparable to the social security number in the United States, etc. So, but the clamor for general multipurpose card is, of course, every Nigerian's right to clamor for, and he will get it. We're about to commence a new scheme. I probably would not want to begin to give timelines, but we're less than 6 weeks away to having a new general multipurpose card.
So those who are waiting for their permanent ID card can begin to collect them in 6 months' time.
Did I say 6 months? I said 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Exactly.
In 6 weeks' time. Okay, so those who have issues with collecting their permanent ID card, if you just have your print, you hear it from NTA first hand from NIMSI. 6 weeks, you will get your permanent ID cards. All right, let's take a short break. We have lots of comments. Yes, questions and comments coming up. By the All right, welcome back. I just conclude. More comments, more questions have come in. I know Nere also has some. Let me quickly take these ones that have come in, and they are quite, I will rush them. Okay, this is from Abbas Abubakar Saad Jalingo Taraba. I would like to begin, appreciating efforts of NIMSI officials across the country. However, it is also important to draw attention to some challenges observed in local communities, particularly in rural areas where many citizens are forced to pay unofficial fees for services that are clearly supposed to be free for charge. This discourages poor, vulnerable individuals, especially those in remote communities, from registering. What's NIN officials doing in this regard? This is a good morning, NTA and discussants. Your topic is apt. I must say that NTA is doing a great job by bringing national issues up for discussion. It is not secured, as people could have multiple registration, foreigner registered as Nigerians, non-traceable addresses, and all sorts. The idea of having people registered without integrity of what national identity stands for should be of great concern. This is Mohammed Onotu Abdugani from Akpakpa in Lagos. Good morning to you all. Yenre just talked of my experience at the NIMSI office in Karu. Karu. Parents and students are really finding it difficult to access services on time, even after payment of money to purchase data for them. This is NIMSI's office in Karu. They are asking for money and data. NIMSI. Now, this is all. They always request cash and not transfer. Don't transfer. Give us cash. That's what they're asking. I want to know if the national identity card has expiry date. This is Aliu Tafida Gumbi. This is because my national identity issued to me on June 28, 2018, I beg your pardon, expired 06/2023. Honestly, NIMSI officials are not trying. They are just making things very difficult for people. Does national identity expire? Because I did my own in 2017. When I came back to Owerri, your office said it has expired. Good morning, I'm John Faith from Kogi. My question is, why do secondary school ask for national identity? I am Malik Otare Nesi from Ima, Kogi. Your staff charge Nigerians 10,000 naira for Nigerians to edit date of birth, change names. Registration for beginners is 5,000. How free is it if charges are taken from us? Kasim Umaru from Kano. For NIMSI to fulfill its critical national role effectively, the welfare of its staff must be prioritized. Poor compensation not only undermines staff morale, but also increases the risk of corruption, thereby threatening the integrity of national identity systems. That's Kashim Umar from Kano. Lastly, good morning, Nigerian. This is Julie Tone from Otukpo. I had my permanent ID card January 12, 2016. And it expired January 1st, 2021. I thought they said it's permanent ID. Why is something called permanent expiring again?
Okay, I have quite a number here. This one is from Benin City. Emmanuel sent this. It says, your Benin City branch of NIMSI at PZ Road, off Sapler Road, a very familiar place, they never have network and lights. Then a staff member will corner you and suggest you drop your details and money for pre-enrollment. He will call you to let you know when you will come for capturing. All right. Another one says, good morning. I'm Victor from Abuja. My NIN was suspended. What can I do or go to get it fixed? Or if it's possible for me to do it from home. Another one says, good morning, everyone in the house. Please, this message goes to Dr. Alvin Ikoko. I registered for my identity card since 2015. Till now, I can't get my plastic ID card. Each time I go to their customer service, they'll be telling me, come today, come tomorrow. Till today. Please, doctor, do something about it. Please, I would love if you could address this issue. What of a situation whereby a citizen spent over 10 years in Lagos? You pay your tax, comply with all necessary tax in Lagos State. But if such citizen want to register his or her child in government school in Lagos, well, I think this is something completely different. I think it's talking about, I don't know, a Lagos issue. So maybe we'll talk about that some other time. Let's move on from that. This one says, good morning. My name is Enesi Ahmed from Kogi State. For almost 2 years, I went to NIN office for an error in my name. I was asked to pay 2,000 naira, which I did. Up to date, the error has not been corrected.
Yeah.
Dr. Ikoko, I can see your head is down.
No, not at all.
Okay.
How can my head be down? Okay. Keep the feedback coming. You know, I told you to reel it out, okay?
Yes.
And we really do appreciate.
No, yes, I need you to speak to the issue of charges. Excessive charges. They have named centers, Karu Center, one center in Benin, where these fraudulent, charges are being demanded. So you just have to tell the viewer, what would NIMSI's reaction be?
And to think these are not remote areas. So imagine what goes on.
Nigerians, to enroll for your national identification number is free.
Please,
on Nigerian soil.
The camera is facing you.
Okay.
So we hold you accountable.
Yes, please. It's free on Nigerian soil. And if any individual or masquerade tells you that you should pay a penny to enroll for your NIN, please help us report that individual so that appropriate actions can be taken.
Report to where? Because your number is not working. It's not going through. Where did they report to?
Report to NIMSI. And Madam Flo has given the number. Okay?
Yes, but I tried it, Madam.
Walk up
yes,
to the supervisor if it's a remote center, walk up to the state coordinator, walk up to any senior official and report the matter.
Okay.
We would love that to happen.
Okay, what
now, there are some other services we render that is not free. The modification services are not free. Okay. In fact, I began to laugh, and that's when probably you saw my head drop, not because of the barrage of questions or feedback coming in. No, and I said, keep it coming. I even heard of a charge for a modification that is clearly false and misleading. It is less than what we charge for modification, so automatically it's a red flag, okay? Because there is
How much are you charging for modification?
Right now, for date of birth modification is 28,000, okay? So, and for the self-service, you can do 4 different types of modification. You can do your date of birth, you can modify your address, you can modify your name, and you can modify your address, okay? So,
how much is that?
600 or 500?
So why is the age 28,000? What if the error was on the part of NIMSI official at the point of registration?
Thank you very much. So as a matter of fact, there is a responsibility vested in the individual before the enrollment agent to check through, to cross-check, and be sure that that data is correct. Now, if you even try to enroll using the pre-enrollment portal, you become an agent of some sort because you fill in what you want there. So that the responsibility of what is filled is on you. If you make a mistake, it's on you. If nevertheless, it's a human endeavor, if NIMSI makes a mistake and you are able to spot it going through, the onus of changing it is on NIMSI for free within a reasonable point in time. Then I'll also answer the question of how long does it take to effect a modification? It will not take more than 72 hours to effect a modification. For these categories of modification I mentioned, you don't even have to see a NIMSI center. So all those marauders in there who tell you, bring X Naira and we'll do this for you, it is not even necessary. You will not cite them and they will not cite you. You can do it from the comfort of your home and effect these changes. So
what's the website? How can you do that? Give us the link.
Modification at NIMSI. Self-service modification, sorry, at nimsi.gov.ng.
Self-service modification.
Yes.
nimsi.gov.ng.
Okay, we'll have you repeat that before we end the program. But let's bring in Honorable Ismaila in Lokoja. And I'm just wondering, share with us from your state-level perspective how sub-national governments like Kogi, for instance, is plugging into the national identity framework to improve service delivery.
Very much. Quickly, I happen to represent my state at the NGF Digital Public Infrastructure Program, and we are keening into NIMSI because the DPI program is emphasizing very much on NIMSI as a true source of identification. So today, in Kogi State, if you want to have access to our health insurance scheme, you would have to provide your NIN. If you want to go for your application in the state, you have to provide your NIN. Things like this will encourage citizens of Kogi State to help us achieve this DPI project in Kogi State, because that is the one source of truth that will drive the digital economy of the state and Nigeria.
Hanil, I'm just wondering, you know, these at the subnational level, how the states are also trying to, you know, partner with NIMSI. How does that improve, for instance, the economy and maybe youth development?
Okay, so one of the major pillars to talking about the digital public infrastructure is the fact that it's going to make room for the provision of digital services. So for taking an example of Estonia, you know, in Estonia, it is one country that you can do everything from the comfort of your home, apart from, I think, just two things. Marriage and one other thing. But every other thing you can do that from the comfort of your home. And they did that by launching an initiative that brought about e-residence. So you can actually be in Nigeria and you own a company in Estonia. You've never been there. It doesn't mean that you can go there. You still need to get to the process of getting their visas and all of that. You can run a company from Nigeria and Estonia without having to be in Estonia. And the reason they were able to do that was because they launched the e-resident initiative that gives people, both citizens and other foreign nationals to be able to register as residents, electronic resident of Estonia. And that's their digital public infrastructure largely has three compartments to it. There is the identity, which is the bedrock. Then there is the digital services, which is where the youth empowerment stuff comes, which gives room for using the example Estonia, citizens and foreign nationals to offer services to whosoever wants to get that services. Then there is the infrastructure itself, the digital infrastructure, which connects all sectors to. That's the framework, the data exchange that connects all sectors together. This transport sector is connected to that framework. The bank is connected to that framework. So if you are a citizen if you are an e-resident in Estonia, you would be able to access majority of the services because they are all connected to that framework. Now, Nigeria started theirs. And that's the Nigerian Data Exchange, which is that's our own data layer, the data framework. It just started in May, and it's not something.
I just have to stop you, to ask this question because we're almost running out of time, really. And because, in fact, that's one of the major issues, apart from today being the National Identity Day. One of the major issues why we needed to speak with NIMSI was, the outcome of the investigation, carried out by an independent, outfit, to look into the JAM malpractices. And they came up with one of the fraud, issues they raised was that some candidates presented with 2 NIN numbers. Dr. Ikoku said it's not possible. But I know nothing is impossible with digital technology.
Okay, yeah, true. Nothing, as long as the digital space is concerned, all possibility exists. We are even getting digital twin now. So the possibility exists for people to there are a whole lot of reasons why that can happen. There is the possibility where, from his explanation, there is somebody at the back end that is supposed to verify if there is a check, if there is a close match. What if that person is compromised and decides to approve a close match or something? So there is the insider perspective where somebody inside NIMSI is able to make that happen. Then there is the concept of you bypassing the technology. It's fingerprint. And you can, there was one time election where people were using palm kernel, this thing, as thumbprint.
In fact, there is finger blending.
Exactly.
There's also finger blending. They came up with finger blending.
So you can compromise it. It's just for you to make the fingerprint, the digital print, to be something different. And once you're able to put it and add other things to it, you'll be able to bypass that. What they should do is to check the 2 identities that...
who should do? Is it
NIMSI. When they said, okay, we have persons like the JAM case where they say we have persons with double identity, give us the double identity, let's go and check the fingerprints if they match. So if that possibility exists and they match, then the problem is not the individual, the problem is their system. So they need to ensure that they verify to ensure that their systems area has been sorted out. Then if they don't match, then it means that the person at the other end bypassed the system by using some other means of getting a different fingerprint that is actually not a fingerprint of somebody.
Many thanks, Daniel. You've told us how that is possible. We need to begin to round up the conversation now. Dr. Ikoku, for me, and a lot of Nigerians, the worry is, are we just having the need for the sake of identity, just so we can present the cards when it is requested for? Or is it not supposed to deal with certain issues like corruption, ghost workers, leakages in government spending, and all of that? What is NIMSI doing, to ensure that this unique identity begins to do all of that for us?
Certainly. Thank you very much. That's exactly what the identity should do, not for the sake of identity. Hanel did highlight that one of the major components of a digital public infrastructure is to ensure data exchange, or what you might call in technology parlance, interoperability. Okay, that's one core. And at the other core is actually digital identity and digital payment. So if we do all that we are supposed to do, which exactly we are doing, by the way, our facility is undergoing yet another upgrade to ensure with improved algorithm of the ABIS, so that you cannot even play around with any shenanigans, you cannot cross-match, it will detect it, etc. So this is an era of trust. This is an era of security. And the National Day of Identity today has carved out that theme for this day's celebration. And our theme is our theme today is public key infrastructure, the backbone of digital public infrastructure. So we are now thinking security. You've said a lot of things. You've given us a lot of feedback. We already know them. But we are also thinking ahead, and we are very focused and trying to ensue an era of digital trust. That matters a great deal. And it would give Nigerians a lot of comfort about our activities. Harmonization and integration is ongoing. As a matter of fact, it is one of the key deliverables of NIMSI, even under the Ministry of Ministry of Interior, coming from the President's 8-point agenda.
Right.
So we have to pursue that diligently, and we are doing very, very well. The ministerial retreat held just a couple of weeks ago, and NIMSI got a lot of thumbs up because we excelled in it.
All right. I also hope you get thumbs up, you know, in dealing with all these issues of extortion currently going on. Many thanks, Dr. Alpha Nikoko, Head of Strategy and Program Office at NIMSI. It was indeed a pleasure to have you. All the best in your event today.
Thank you.
Mrs. Florence Olorun-Tade, Director, Sebicom and Deputy Ambassador, ID for Africa. Thank you so much for being our guest, and we hope that you take your surveillance a little bit higher. Haniel Jafaru, AI Cybersecurity Consultant and Executive Director, HTC Academy. Beautiful, you're not thinking like a criminal. Thank you so much.
Thank you
we
so
appreciate
much,
your
Adriana.
insights. Honorable Ismaila Umar, immediate past Senior Special Assistant on ICT to Governor Yahaya Bedo, and now Special Advisor on Digital and Creative Economy to Governor Usman Ahmed Ododo. Thank you so much. It was indeed a pleasure to have you. And so that's it on Good Morning Nigeria. Today, September 16, 2025. I'm Henry John. Don't touch the dial.
I'm Claire Adelabu Abdulrazak. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.